when you used to go like on the retrievals, did you see like people when you rescued them or whatever they be like branded like Lady Duck? You know, all her females had a Lady Duck on them. Like, did you see that a lot?
Man, we saw. Don't you know the brand they use on cattle?
Yeah,
We seen that just way smaller. We seen that on a lot of little females that was coming over illegally from Mexico. I guess they was coming from like other countries in South America. We seen a lot of that. Like the tattoo thing. We ain't really like the tattoos. Mostly are going on the males that are part of different groups. They use a physical, actual brand,
with
like
the
you would
fire.
with the fire on them,
Oh, yeah,
which is, oh man, that's just crazy. Like, why would you want to do that to somebody? Like, yeah, like the most treacherous I ever seen was being down in Mexico in that area. You go down there, boy. You go to certain villages. It's no men, or it's no men at all. Like everybody's been a narco and is dead. Like you feel me? You see stories about how motherfuckers they down there raping grandmothers. Like you feel now, if you go down in certain areas, if you go to the club with your girl, they will approach you and say, "We want to buy your girl."
damn.
That's happening now. You feel me? That's happening now, right now. You feel me? For sure. Because it was a little story about how a black girl went down to Mexico with her friends and she ended up dying. The truth behind that is they got her down there. Two of them had plotted. They was going to sell her to the cartel niggas. And the shit went sideways. She ended up getting killed. You feel me? So watch out for that back door down in Mexico because that shit is real deal. Facts.
Yeah, they got a lot of movies on it too, so you've been warned, right?
Now see that's the thing, bro. Like them movies, it's always bits of truth in all of these films, for sure, for sure.
Right. How do you feel about Trump sending the National Guard to Chicago?
Mm. This is very interesting to me because something has to happen. Because, you know, this is the most hyper advanced city in the States. Everybody resorts to violence for the smallest altercation, disagreement. You gotta have law and order. Problem is, I remember being in certain situations and the last thing we was thinking about was pulling over, right? Then they did pretty much got rid of the whole bond system, you feel me? So everybody gets a I bond or own recognizance release now. I just seen guys get caught with switches 4 times. Get out each time. Then once you get an armed habitual, what's that, 11, 13 years, that 50%, you back in 5 years, you back in 4.5 years, and you got time served. Everything has been transactional. They had turned everything into a business. This is the problem with this system. Studies showed that, let's say a billionaire guy comes out and just decides to pay everybody's legal fees. This would make the system crash because they say it's not even enough lawyers to represent people on each side. Everything has been turned into like the ant farm feeding system for what? Another trafficking organization, which is these prisons, these private prisons. It's no coincidence that the inside of these prisons, the same way Chicago public schools look. You go everywhere based off a bell or a siren. Same way in these schools. And they aren't teaching tradecraft, they're teaching memorization. Soon as you ask an inmate his ID number, they give you this long ID number, all memorization. The program is falling. Something has to be done. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that armed forces and National Guard began with instant shoot to kill orders. That's going to be interesting. You feel me? The murder rate there just too high. But you got 40, 50 people getting shot on a weekend. Something's got to be done. It worked real well down in D.C. Looked like it worked well to me. You feel me? Because when you look at the whole grand scheme of things, when I'm traveling around different countries, these governments, when they go into these areas where there are ongoing feuds going on, they call them blood feuds. They have certain allocated resources to typically intervene into these blood feuds to get peace. Because oftentimes, the lex talionis, which means eye for an eye, that is what the law system is being used for. That's what the law system that the locals are going to go by, eye for an eye. We've seen President Trump enter into several areas across the world and get countries to agree to no longer be at war. How would he look as the commander in chief if he did, in fact, not show up here and try to do something? And any opportunity he has to throw shit on Obama, he's going to do it. Look, I showed up to Obama's homeland. I got these guys to end the gang wars. Obama couldn't do that. So you got to keep these things in mind. What's the true motivations? I can't hear you. Yo.
No, I'm still here.
Oh,
Can you
okay.
hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay. Right. Um, OTF Boona gets he duct tapes a man and he executes him. How, what do you think when you see something like that?
I'm going to give a Dugard quote on this one. Uh, Certain people need to stay out the streets because that's what they made sidewalks for, right? Because if this is truly your culture, your belief system, the street shit, rules apply and rules are needed. We always had rules growing up. Some of those rules was you never take shooters when you're going to go take some. Because, we don't steal, we take. We gonna take something from you, you gonna know who took it from you, and we ain't doing no petty theft. If it's valuable enough, you don't deserve it, it's getting took from you. Simple as that. Whatever the repercussions are of that, it is what is it's gonna be what it's gonna be, I should say. Problem is, whoever took him on this robbery, obviously what he's good at is shooting. Because to be a good taker crew, the only way you're going to go a long stretch without getting caught is if you keep the violence to a minimum.
Right.
Point blank period. Point blank period. His decision making. This is the thing, bro. Like, guys be emotionally charged. They fight an inner zest monster, personality traits. They all Percocets, lean, weed, drugs. Where's your mental state at? You know what I'm saying? If this man is tied up, he got frustrated. He didn't know how to pull information out of somebody without using brute force. You feel me? He didn't have his toolbox when it was time to get violent. He didn't have many violent tools. All he had was his feet, his hands, and that gun. And he got to pay the consequences for that. So let this be a lesson to all of the guys watching this. There are no Glocks, no guns, no drums in that jail, my boy. You're gonna be in there balling up, bro, grave. So keep that in mind, bro. This shit nonsense, bro. He done took this man life, tied him up. He was already tied up. So this lets you know he didn't go in there with a mask on. You feel me? So they going in there with no mask, tying people up. They didn't watch too many movies, man. Circumstantial evidence, phone records. Everybody got a ring camera. And these guys be having dreadlocks, bro. Like, everywhere you go, you can drop some dread hair. I don't care what nobody say. All it takes is the right forensic investigative team to show up someplace, and they can find a strand of hair, run it through the convicted felon system they got DNA samples from, and bang, they put you at the scene of the crime. That's how the world is working, bro. And when AI comes, when AI fully is full fledged, it's gonna be hard to get away with crime for sure, for sure.
Right. Yeah, they're gonna have to make robots doing all the killing now. that's
So
that's
look, so you see, certain universities to combat active shooters are all purchasing these armed, militarized kill drones. If you got a mass shooter, they can hit the button. The drones dispatch. They are equipped with firearms on the drone. They finna come nail your way. They call it a real airstrike on you on the gas. That's what's going on. It's coming, man. AI is about to crush the middle class, bro. People need to go into HVAC. They need to go into electrician work, electrical work, because AI needs so much electricity and it needs AC to keep cool to power it. Those sectors are gonna boom. People have to reskill, but the middle class is going to get crushed. There's no way around it. Another reason why I came over here to Africa, because they consider it witchcraft. And it's going to hit here a lot less. It's going to be a lot less impactful when it hits here, and it's going to take a lot longer. So, you know, I want to see it being used to empower humanity instead for making us obsolete, because the average 9 to 5 worker has a job that a robot can do. They have Chinese factories that are operating completely in the dark. Everything is being built by these robots. Solar powered buildings. They have the lights. There's no lights on in the building. Robots don't need light to work. Robots don't have kids. Robots don't got to take a break. Robots don't smoke cigarettes. Robots don't get sick. You see what I'm saying? Robots don't need housing. Robots don't have to go home. The robot can stay right there on the premises. This is another reason why we seen Trump with his tariff war to make these big companies put factories here in the United States of America to make there be a boom of jobs. Simply because if we continue to outsource all of our labor workers, and then the laws against AI are going to be a lot weaker in these other countries. They don't care what they do with people. If it's up to them, all of their workers would indeed be robot workers. So a lot of false narratives are being painted. You see what I'm saying? They say the world overpopulated, but you got several countries that are paying people to come there and have children. Truth is, the birth rate is on a decline in certain DNA strands on this planet. 100,000 years ago, something happened, man. 100,000 years ago, something happened. Humans was able to outcompete 6 other humanoid species on this planet. 7,000 years ago, the white human arrived here, and they traced the location to somewhere in Scandinavia. You know, we got to start to really look at the grand scheme of things if we want a chance to try to have a future for our children's children, I should say. Because it's looking ugly right now, but I'm remaining optimistic, Rook. Shout out Real Life Street Stars for sure.
What?
Real life. If that shit ain't real life, that shit ain't happening.
It ain't real life. Just say real. Real life street stars.